All right, so let's get into our first topic.
All right, so
because we want to finish fast today. We want to watch the shit show.
So we're going to be talking about how much Uber drivers do make, and we've seen a couple of articles that came out more recently, and as you can see, this is one of them right here. And so you want to set the record straight because you saw this one, Serge, and when it comes to expenses, when it comes to gas, when it comes to figuring out your costs to operating your vehicle, when it comes to the operation of your vehicle, when it comes to beyond that, the cost of your car, you got to couple all this in. You can't just look at it as the gas that you pay and that's your expense. So take it away.
Okay, I like these articles because Google feeds me these articles, and then I quickly glance at it, and then I get stuck. Once I get stuck, that means it's worth paying attention to. That means we can teach our audience something about this. How long has it been we've been talking about CPM? For all of you who don't know what CPM is, please leave the show immediately. It's cost per mile.
Don't leave the show.
Cost per mile. Sorry, cost per mile. Okay. How long have we been doing that? I initially, actually, the first 3 months, all we did was that figure out your cost. Treat this like a small business. It's like, your cost is not just gas. You have insurance, you have your car note, you have your maintenance, you have your obviously variable costs, fixed cost. We talked about this endlessly. And then I see this. Okay, so this guy goes, how much does an Uber driver make? I drove for Uber to find out. Tommy Tyndall, September 3rd. I go, okay, Tommy, let's see what you got. So is driving for Uber worth the money? I put the side hustle to the test and nervously drove strangers around Northern Maryland for a couple of days to find out. First of all, Tommy, you did not drive long enough. Plus, it doesn't look like you watched us at all. Otherwise, this article wouldn't be taking place. He goes, here's what I learned. All right, okay. I made $143.70. First of all, right there is that word made. You didn't make shit, sir. You grossed. So we're eradicating made from our vocabulary. We have actually for a while. So over the course of the 3 Uber shifts that I totaled roughly 10 hours. Why is it roughly? I don't know, but let's give it to him then. So I completed
probably like 9 hours and 47 minutes or something.
So yeah, probably. So he says, I completed 10 trips, put 305 miles on my economical, here's the killer, Uber rental, and spent $38.80 on 1 tank of gas. Subtract the gas from $143.73, and I earned $104.93 or $10.49 an hour. Only $3 of my earnings were tips, which I found surprising because I'm nice. Tommy, not only you're nice, you're math challenged, Tommy. Because if this was our audience, okay, audience, what do you say to this guy? You give him a grade, A through F. I know it's going to fly.
Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to give him an I, an incomplete.
I? Okay, you're too kind. You're too kind.
No, incomplete. He needs to come back with the proper math in order to figure it out. But if he keeps it as is, he's going to get an F.
Somebody gave him a D. D is generous, bro. Anyway, so okay. So he goes, I am in an Uber rental, and he only deducted his gas. Now, he drove for 10 hours, and he was on an Uber rental. He says specifically Uber rental. He just didn't. If he hadn't said that, I still would have said, hey, man, but in 10 hours, what's the maintenance cost going to be? What's the depreciation going to be? Although 305 miles for $143 looks like about 50 cents a mile to me. Less, actually.
Less, yeah.
Yeah, so you took yourself a nice IRS deduction, sir. So you basically use your car for a tax write-off.
I mean, did they put the negative rate on his on it? Is that what happened? Like he had to overcome the car rental in order to actually gross some sort of money, like Lyft does?
He didn't say that what the car rental was, but he did mention he's an Uber rental. So as we know, any Uber rental is on a weekly basis, Chris. That's not by the day. So even if he rented it for a week, we know with insurance and extra insurance and blah, 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 if it was a Tesla or a Polestar or whatever, it ain't going to be less than $400. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So this dude is definitely in the hole.
I don't know what's going on. So if this was a serious article, Tommy, and you end up watching this one day, because you may be one of those 1.6 million people who watch the MPU thing, get a hold of me, Sergio at rideshareguy.com. Come over here. We'll teach you this how it's done. Or one of our actually many audience members, they will be glad to coach you on this. So don't do this, please. Please, people. Please don't do this. This is not the way to run a business.
I have to say. 10 hours active driving and you only totaled 143. That just seems off. I mean, granted, you might not know your area at all, but still, like you could have gone out at the absolute wrong times too. Like, so maybe this person decided to go out like 9 a.m. through like 5, like during a normal working hour day, and realized, oh wait, there's not that many rides at that point. That's the only thing I could think of that could give you that type of like lowness when it comes down to it. But yeah, I mean, how the hell do you drive 305 miles?
I know it's because you would have made more. I mean, you would have earned more if you drove 305 miles. I would guess. I don't know, unless
for the rental. I'm guaranteeing you, it was probably the company that he's writing for.
Maybe he's in a rural area. You know, he doesn't put any more details on.
I don't know. Northern Maryland, you're looking at like Frederick, that area. So I mean, it's got a decent. I mean, there's a lot of hell. Baltimore's and not necessarily northern, but I mean, you probably still have quite a bit of people there.
That's a good point, Fred Heron. That's a good point. He may have just get around. You mean like daily? He rented it for the day, but he says couple of days. So even I don't know what get around rates are, but it can't be less than $40-50 a day, or I don't know, something like that. So either way, Tommy, you don't do, learn from us and learn from our audience. This is not a way to run a business. So the negative side is this guy don't know what's going on. And I'm hoping the positive side is you guys don't do this. So for newbies who are watching this, and for veterans who are watching this, because there are some veterans who still are doing this, please don't do this, right? Figure out your cost per mile. I'm not telling you to cherry pick or ant or whatever. That's nothing to do with that. This guy did 10 trips, so $14, $15. Actually, if I had just seen that, $15 average per trip, I go, okay, that's pretty cool. But then when I saw the 305 miles, I'm like, that's no bueno. So anyway, so the idea is don't do this, okay? Learn from a mentor or learn from us. This is the wrong way of doing it. So that's it.
Yep. Well, not only that, look, he probably didn't know the times to go out. He probably went during the early afternoon or something. If he did it over, let's say 3 days where there's not that many rides. And, the reality is this is probably a lot of new drivers. So new drivers, if you're watching this, one of the things is you got to understand the concepts. So patience, we have the 3 Ps: patience, positioning, and planning. One of the things that can help is a resource that we always recommend is Solo. It's going to tell you your area. It's going to tell you when the busy times are, when the times are of events, when things are going to be picking up in terms of your airports, when you're expecting more demand for rides overall. So you have a better opportunity to plan for the time to go out. You have a better opportunity to go out there and make money. Not something like $14 an hour. You could probably get $24 an hour by utilizing the tools that you have. Not only that, it's going to also keep your expenses on hand. So you're going to actually really, truly see your true expenses, not just your gas cost saying I put on 305 miles and things like that. No, it's going to track all that for you. So you can actually see your costs. And if you plug it into the app properly, it will give you a better estimation on your expenses and everything around that. So that's one thing. Then the other side of the coin is, bro, you spent $38.80 on a gas. I get it. But, we can use different apps like Upside, or, if you're near a reservation like myself, get it for 60 cents cheaper than, the gas station down the street from me. So like things like that, you got to be smart when you are behind the wheel, and you can't just go willy-nilly behind the wheel, driving around aimlessly, waiting for the next ride. That just doesn't work. You pull over, you wait for the next ride. If you want to reposition yourself, that's a different story. Like you could definitely do that. But there's a lot of tips and tricks, and that's why, you know, RSG is a great resource for drivers. So if you know new drivers who are coming on board, send them our way. Let them know, like, look, this is a great resource. This is going to give you a lot of great information. So there's a lot of things there where instead of, you know, honestly making the average probably of 140, 3 for 10 hours, you know, you're actually going to be making money. This person probably in the hole, probably negative overall when we really look at it and break it down. But in reality, that's what the average new driver thinks about. They don't look at the entirety as a whole. So they don't look at it. They say, ooh, I made $143 and it only cost me about $40 for gas. It doesn't take into account everything else that you have to take into account.
Look at this one. I didn't know this. What's up, Ron? You know, him and his wife, Ron and Damaris, was on our Behind the Wheel as the first couple. I think they were still the only first couple doing gig work. Get around rentals for Uber in Boston for $4 an hour. You can rent a car for $4 an hour. A car with 4 wheels and 4 doors. I don't know about that, man.
Wow. I'm going to have to look at that.
That
might be actually really worth it.
I think $4. You can't even buy a pack of gum for $4, bro.
You know, I wonder what his acceptance rate was. I bet it was 100%.
Well, in this case, so if he did for 10 hours, that's another $40 deduction out of the 104.93. So we're down to $65.
So wait, what are we running right now for the IRS deduction?
67.
67. So let me just do this real quick in the calculator.
Oh, that's $200. You got $200 deduction or more. No, right about 205, something like that.
Yeah, 204.35.
See, you guys got to follow me on the finance channel. I got this shit going in my head. I'm old, but I'm still like, my mind is so sharp now. But anyway, so
that's insane.
Okay, this is all upside down. So basically, don't do this.
Yeah, don't. Whatever this driver said, or this person, Tommy Tyndall, says, don't do what he says. Do what we say. Yeah. You're gonna have a lot more.
This is an example.
Yeah. You know what, Tommy? Again, actually, yeah. If you're watching this, you know, get hold of us. Get hold of us either on X, email us. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Get hold of us. Let's teach you how to drive real quick, and let's redo this a little bit so we can actually see.
Amazing comment, Chris.
Improve.
Very true. Very, very true, William. You won't get the tax deduction because it's a rental. Damn shame. Damn right. There you go. Absolutely 100% correct. That's it.
All right, anyway, but actually that, you know, I'd love to do that though as a test. Like you take a driver who's making 143 for 10 hours worth of work, drives 305 miles, teach them some
to 300, make him do 300.
Make him $300 for 140 miles.
Exactly.
And see the difference there. So I would love that as a test case. Hey, speaking of, if you're new,
you know what? I'm going to actually email him now. Now that you know what? We should do that. We should make him a test case. Take him from 0 to hero.
Yeah. And then we'll do that on our, we'll do that for us. But either way, here's another thing. If you're a brand new driver and you have numbers like that, you're making 14 an hour or whatever, get hold of us. We want to use you as a test subject where we can take you from 0 to hero.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have any zeros in our audience.
No, but I mean, we may have quite a few new drivers on hand, especially like if this is a segment, this will probably be more so for brand new drivers who are coming on board. So that's, you know, something we can look at too. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you get notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.